And for those of the audience who don't know what the term starseed is, it means that your soul originated somewhere else other than planet Earth. And yes, it is possible for your soul to be from somewhere else other than here, from another star system, another planet, another place elsewhere in the galaxy. And not even just that, but to have spent lifetimes, hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes, traveling between different star systems, having all of these lives where you've experienced different things, and then have chosen to take all of that you've learned here to planet Earth in order to help planet Earth itself evolve and ascend.
Real quick, before we dive into today's episode, I have a free gift for you. In celebration of my new program, Money Magnetics, I'm giving away my Money Magnetics guided meditation. Ooh, say that 5 times fast. To you for free. Every time I do this meditation, I kid you not, if I do it for a few days in a row, money magic seriously happens. It really, really works. I cannot wait to share it with you. You can download it now at kelseyAida.com/MM freebie, MM for Money Magnetics. Find this link in the show notes, and you'll have to send me a message on Instagram to let me know how it goes for you. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite, hopefully, spiritual podcast, High Vibin' It. We are so happy to be with you. As always, it's your homegirls, Kelsey Aida, Lindsay Robinson. I, speaking, am Kelsey. I'm a best-selling author, transformation facilitator, and my best friend, Lindsay Robinson, is a hypnotherapist extraordinaire and the co-host of this lovely podcast. So welcome if you are new, and if you're not a newbie, also welcome back, because we love you and we love all our High Vibin' It VIPs. So thanks for being here. And we have a very special guest for you guys today who was so gracious to offer us both readings, which were awesome. So I cannot wait for you guys to dive into her world and for us to maybe share some stories of cool stuff that came up. But today we have on our show Emily the Mystic, who is amazing. She's awesome. She's beautiful. She is an entrepreneur. She's an Akashic Records reader. She's a psychic. She's a coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. And she's basically just a magical being who can read into your stuff and help you to get clarity and get to the next level in your life. And she has lots of wisdom around starseed stuff, past life stuff, all kinds of fun spiritual things that we will likely dive into today. So without further ado, Emily, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for that introduction. I love it. And I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are happy to have you.
This is going to be a good talk. Emily, so first of all, we made such a good friend when you reached out and wanted to be on the show. So we're very happy to talk to you. Anytime we can connect with like-minded ladies that we have so much in common with is a good time. But I want to take a second and kind of educate people if they don't know who you are, if you've just like shown up as an angel in their lives. What do you do? How did you get into it? Like, what's your story? And usually for the psychics or the mystics, I always want to ask, like, what's the craziest like thing that's happened, like as you were discovering your gift, as you were coming into your powers, for lack of a better word. So if you want to include a really cool story, I love stories, but just tell people like kind of how you got into it and what brings you to this work.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a full-time entrepreneur, spiritual coach, mentor for intuitives and other entrepreneurs as well. And I absolutely love helping my clients find more joy and play in their lives. So my mission is all about having more fun and leading a spiritual lifestyle, but from a place of that fun and joy, because as we all know from going through a spiritual journey, it's not always easy. There are a lot of challenges. There's always challenging parts about this human life, this human experience. So I hope to bring not just my clients, but my audience and my community a new perspective of that fresh, fun energy. And so for me, I grew up a very spiritually aware child in a lot of ways. I was obsessed with spiritual stuff and spiritual books when I was pretty little. And I would go to the library and Barnes and Noble with my mom, and I would read as many books as I could about psychic gifts and intuition and the chakras and astrology from when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. And even though I didn't really understand spiritual stuff, on a because I was a kid at the time, there's a part of my soul that really got it and really understood it. And so I have always been interested in spirituality, but it really took me into the depths of the pandemic at the beginning of 2020, where I went through what I call a spiritual reawakening journey. I've had a pretty normal adult life. I went to college, I studied marketing and business, I graduated with a business degree, and then I worked in a corporate job for the majority of my 20s. And while working in that corporate job, I started to feel and get this sense that there's so much more to life than this job. There's so much more that I'm here to do. I have a much bigger mission and purpose than just this, and I wanted to find more meaning in my life. And so even before the pandemic started, I started a little bit of a side business where I was doing health coaching because that was my passion at the time. And during the pandemic itself, I had this spiritual reawakening journey, which helped me leap back into my spiritual interests. And I took all of that and started applying it towards the client sessions that I was already doing at the time, and found that this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to do spiritual work for a living. I'm here to make a big impact on people. And eventually I was able to quit my corporate job and start doing this work full time. So it's been a bit of a twisty and turning journey, but that is what it's been like in a nutshell.
So give
Sounds
us a
like the
story.
entrepreneurial journey.
Yes,
Twisty and
the
turny,
classic.
roller coaster.
Give us the story, Emily. What is a cool thing? Did anything crazy happen as a kid, or was it until you got older when you started to embrace who you are more, or felt comfortable doing that some cool stuff has started to happen? I mean, it's all cool, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. So my main psychic gifts are clairaudience and claircognizance. And so for the audience who might not know what those words mean, I have psychic.
You just said audience and audience, but they're two completely different words, but I just delight in that. I think it's so cool. Clairaudience. And you also said audience. It's so cool. I love that.
Yes. So
I'm a geek for words.
I have psychic hearing and psychic knowing. So clairaudience is the hearing, cognizance is the knowing. And so when I was a kid, I was having intuitive experiences because I would have these long conversations in my mind with who I thought were my imaginary friends. And I had no idea that I was talking to my angels and spirit guides until later on in life, looking back with hindsight and having clear memories of those conversations and those times in my room where I was by myself chatting with who I thought were, who people told me were imaginary friends, but now it's different. So one of the clearest experiences that I had during my spiritual reawakening journey was I was listening to a podcast about spirit guides. And this was my whole window into spirituality. And this podcast was talking about, we can create a connection with our spirit guides. And while I was listening to this podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, spirit guides, wait a second. I totally forgot about all of that. And it was such a light bulb moment for me. And while I was listening to this podcast episode, I was on a walk and I literally ran home during listening to the podcast episode because I was like, I have to figure this out. I have to give this a try. So as soon as I got home, I found a random Meet a Spirit Guide meditation on YouTube. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to give this a try. We're going to see if we can make a connection. And during the meditation, I had the most profound experience. I literally had a voice in a different accent come into my head and tell me these profound messages of unconditional love and about me and about my soul. And I just felt so seen in those moments. And I had tears just streaming down my face. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I can't believe that I had ignored this part of myself for so long. I can't believe I have these gifts. How is this even possible? How is this happening? And from that point forward, I was so determined to really figure out my psychic and intuitive gifts and start to understand them even more.
Wow. What accent was it?
It was how do I describe it? It was like an ancient voice. Just not American English is so particular.
It'd be so funny if it was Australian or
Yeah.
That would be like a modern one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a feeling you'd say like ancient, like Lemurian or something like that. But that's so cool. And that's exactly what the kind of experience that people have when they connect with that all-knowing, all-loving kind of wise guide sort of thing. There's a hypnosis I do with clients where they meet their spirit guide or their wise one, as I say, because it doesn't have to be a spirit guide. It can be an ancestor or just a symbol or an image of some kind. But that unconditional feeling of love and connection and support and knowing, like this thing, this wise one knows me, and I don't have to show up as anything except exactly as I am. And what a powerful feeling that is. So yeah, that's a really cool story. I like that one. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for
You're
indulging me.
Yeah, and when you were talking about feeling seen, I was remembering back to our session that we just had when you did the Akashic Records reading for me. And I felt so seen because I was asking certain questions that I had like maybe inclinations about or deep inner knowings. And when you would bring up a truth or an insight or something for me to digest, I was like, man, like this is the real deal. Like I feel it in my heart, I feel it in my soul that this is true and it's really helpful. So for anyone who's
Yeah.
like on a spiritual journey, on an entrepreneurial journey, Emily's a really great resource to get some psychic insight and some intel into like what could be holding you back, different ways to change your strategy and different ways to think about things to just get to that next level. So definitely wanted to insert that little shout out in there and tell everyone to book a reading with you because it was so awesome and all the fun things that I learned and also like things that I've been struggling with for a long time, like the whole not being able to be a ballerina thing, which people have heard me talk about on the show before if you're like a regular listener. And for you to just confirm, like, yeah, sorry, life changed, more important things to do. I was like, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then there was something else too. Oh, when I was asking about like, sometimes I get so frustrated that I feel like I put these amazing offers into the world, but like not all these people are jumping on it at once. Like I don't understand. And when you explain to me, like, well, you're just really forward thinking. Like people aren't even ready for that yet. They don't even know that they need it. Like go back to your old offerings and people might be ready for those now. I was just like mind blown
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, my life makes so much more sense now. Thank you for seeing that and reflecting that back to me because I was just like, yeah, okay, yes, I can do that. This makes way more sense. Now I don't have to be
I told-
frustrated that I'm
I
doing
told
something wrong.
I told Kelsey, I was like, I'm going to take that suggestion for myself too. I'm going to go back and look at some of my early offerings and see like if I can revamp any of those because what a great idea. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling Kelsey in the moment, I was saying, wow, this is such a mirror for me as an entrepreneur. 'Cause I feel like for a lot of us in the spiritual space, we want people to have these new experiences. And sometimes people aren't necessarily ready for them yet. So,
Yeah.
but one of the coolest things that I have found with doing hundreds, if not thousands of readings at this point is really at the end of the day, the sole purpose of readings is to reflect back to you those deep inner soul knowings that on some
Yeah.
level you already know, and to
Right.
just confirm and validate for you some of those things you've already been thinking about or become aware of recently, and just to help you receive confirmation about that.
Oh my gosh, I already have something to talk about on the Patreon. Do you okay?
Perfect.
I'm
Write
gonna
it
hint
down
it.
so you
I'm gonna
don't
hint
forget.
it right now. Emily, do you remember at the very end of our call? This is the one thing I was kind of like, oh, boom. Okay, so do you remember me talking about my brother at the end of
Yes.
and you were
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
you're like, I have to look into this. I don't. But you did give me a lot of information. I actually called him immediately after and was like telling him all about it, and he was just like, he said it first but not in the same way you
Yeah.
did. And so when you say like it's just mirroring back your own soul knowings, like yeah, anyway, so I want to talk about that. I know he's not going to care if I do, but I do also want to get him in because I think you can maybe when you are able to tune in, get some more information. But very intriguing, very. And I'm not
Yes.
going to say anything else except, Emily, you agree, right? Like that's weird.
Yeah. Super
Okay.
weird.
Super weird. And we're going to talk about it on the Patreon. So if that ain't a nugget to get you to go join right now, I don't have anything better than this. And you'll know when you hear it. Like it's insane. Anyway, let's go.
That's funny. Okay,
Kelsey's
so
like, what's going on?
well, I already know there's some like, I already know a little bit. But anyway, moving on. So in your readings, you help people a lot to figure out like their starseed origins, correct?
Yes.
And this is something that we can dive into here on the show because, well, Lindsay's obsessed with aliens. We have covered the topic a tiny bit before. I believe I know my starseed origins, but if you pick up anything else, let me know. But I do sense that a lot of healers and light workers obviously have different, I don't know, bloodlines, for lack of a better word, energetic bloodlines, energetic ties to maybe not just being a human in every lifetime all the time, or having like almost like imprints of other beings where you are like working for them and through them. So can you just speak more to it first on a broad general sense for people who are like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are they talking about? Why are they talking about aliens? What does this have to do with me? And then maybe we can dive into like, I don't know, how you got into that.
If you're still wondering why we talk about aliens on this podcast, like you're obviously a new listener. I talk a lot about aliens and I will do it at every chance I can get because yes, they are cool. Anyway, just a side note. Go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, so one of the biggest turning points for me along this path has been coming to the awareness of who I am as a starseed. And for those of the audience who don't know what the term starseed is, it means that your soul originated somewhere else other than planet Earth. And yes, it is possible for your soul to be from somewhere else other than here, from another star system, another planet, another place elsewhere in the galaxy. And not even just that, but to have spent lifetimes, hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes, traveling between different star systems, having all of these lives where you've experienced different things, you've perhaps had training or learned about different energy modalities or worked with different angels or different extraterrestrial beings in between lifetimes, and then have chosen to take all of that you've learned here to planet Earth in order to help planet Earth itself evolve and ascend. So, the one of the biggest themes that I have noticed in doing this work for the last few years is that all of my clients tell me they feel misunderstood in their life. They feel like people don't fully understand them. They feel left out. They feel like they're from somewhere else other than here. They feel like no matter what throughout the course of their life, they felt like the outsider looking in, or like things, or like they can't fully fit in to whatever place they move to throughout the course of their life. And through doing this work, I have seen while working in the Akashic Records that it's because your soul isn't from here. Your soul came from somewhere else other than planet Earth, and you've brought all of these lifetimes of wisdom and knowledge with you in order to help you with your mission and purpose here at this time. And so all starseed souls are coming to planet Earth again to assist in the ascension and overall evolution of the planet. And so you have a particular mission and purpose to play at this time, especially with everything going on in the world. And so coming into this awareness and understanding that you're not from Earth can help you see things from a higher perspective, to help you learn that you're not alone in this journey, and can help you see that there's so much more here for you to do, and how much it creates so much meaning for you in your life as well.
Hey, Lindsay here. Have you seen what's new inside my Align Your Mind membership? Members already get instant access to my best hypnotherapy audios, mindset hacks, manifesting methods, and more on demand right at their fingertips. But now when you join AYM, you'll also get a major VIP level upgrade with my brand new goal-focused hypnotherapy toolkits. These toolkits inside AYM are carefully curated hypnotherapy bundles designed with your specific goals in mind. Whether you desire to call in more money consistently, get out of the mindset rut that you're in, renew your passion and confidence, manifest with more ease and power, cultivate more self-love and inner knowing, or finally release the burdens from your past and heal, once your subconscious mind is on board with your goal, it's a done deal, and that's what my toolkits are designed to do for you. So if you're ready to rewire your mind, release what's holding you back, and manifest your desires with ease, the AYM membership is where it's at. Just hit the link in the episode description and start embodying your highest potential.
Amen to that, girl. I'm here for it. I'm here for the meaning. I'm here for the heaven on earth, the contribution,
Yes.
the uplevelment of humanity, and
I honestly,
whatever it takes.
exactly. Yeah. And it's such a comfortable idea for me now. I can't imagine going back to the moment where it didn't occur to me that I could be from a star system like that isn't Earth. It's so foreign to me that at one point I just believed that it was just Earth.
Yeah.
And I must have been like 12. It's so long ago, but very early on, I feel like I've just been so comfortable with this idea that now it's so like, of course, it's not just Earth. And how amazing is that? Like, how cool is that to know that there are all kinds of different planets that we can't even fathom as humans? And it's so cool. Is there anything else that people should know about the Starseed blueprint that you want them to know?
One of the biggest misconceptions that I see in the spiritual community is that people really get attached to the fact that they're from one particular star system, and they only are from that one star system. They think that they've got physical, their physical appearance mirrors that star system, and they get so like wrapped up in this identity of being attached to this one particular star system, which is not the case. What I have come to see from my work is that we are truly star travelers, in that we have connections to many different star systems. You've had 20 different lifetimes in the Pleiades, and then maybe 30 in Andromeda, and then 20 in Sirius. And all of those have combined to create the beautiful soul that you are today. But of course, we're going to have greater connections to some star systems over than others, because those are the ones that have really shaped who we are. And so that is what I help my clients to find is their greatest star connections.
And for longtime listeners, I'll give you one guess at what Emily said I was. It was Pleiades. Every time. And I told her this in our session. I was like, every single time this comes up, they say Pleiades. And the first time I've ever heard anything about starseeds, it was like, oh yeah, you're Palladian. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And now it's just constant. So, but I understand what you're saying. Like, because it's been told to me so many times, whenever anybody asks me like, oh, do you know? I'm like, yeah, Pleiades. But I know from talking to you that it's multiple. That's just maybe the main one or where it originated from. But there are multiple, just like, you can vacation many different places, but you're not necessarily attached to, well, I am, but most people aren't attached to one place. They like to explore, they like to travel and maybe fall back on the same place, but that doesn't make you who you are, You are all of it.
What about yours, Emily? What are some of the ones that you feel the most strongly connected to personally?
Good question. I have a big Pleiadian connection myself. Kelsey, I definitely feel that in your energy for you too. And my point of origin, so just to give everybody another term, so point of origin is the place where your soul sort of spawned into existence. If we think of things in terms of linear time, that is the one place where your soul originated, and then you traveled and went to all these different other star systems. So just to help make that more clear. And my point of origin was a group of souls called the Blueprinters. So the Blueprinters have the original blueprint for all of life, for all of humanity. If we're thinking about it in terms of physical location, the Blueprinters existed in what is called the Andromeda galaxy. So it's a different galaxy. We currently are located in the Milky Way galaxy. And the Blueprinters, my soul group of origin, we traveled all the way from the Andromeda galaxy into the Milky Way galaxy. And then that's where the Pleiades, Sirius, Andromeda, Mintaka, some of the other major star groups that we are aware of came sort of along after that.
So the Arcturians and the Andromedans, do they have anything in common besides they both start with like the A?
I would say they are both super high frequency galactic beings, meaning that they are very spiritually focused, meaning that they are super high awareness, high empathy, and big focus on energy healing and helping other people to heal.
Yeah, because those A ones, both of them are the ones that I usually feel like more pull to. When I hear about all of them, I'm like, I
Yeah.
wonder if that's me. And I have so many friends who are obviously like Pleiadian. I suspect that my fiance is also from that lineage. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like, what are some of the characteristics that are maybe interesting to you or different about each one? Like, oh, these ones are cool because they're really into this, or these ones help people with this.
So the Arcturians are very cerebral and focused on more intellectual capabilities. So more big emphasis on like higher education and learning and academia and studying. So people who resonate with Arcturus are more known to want to take a lot of classes, kind of that Gemini energy. It's like wanting to be constantly curious and learning and discovering new things. Andromedan beings are master manifestors. They are creators. They love to create things. They create things quickly. They also love beauty and beautiful things and beautiful homes and
Why are you
design.
describing Kelsey like to a T? Like,
Sounds
this
like
is
me.
Yeah.
so
I love
on the
it.
nose. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God,
Wow.
that's so perfect. I love that. Um, the Palladians are revolutionaries. So they are visionaries. They're like looking to create massive change in the world, but having fun while doing it. The Palladians are also very joyful. They're playful. They like to have a good time. So there's kind of this combination of both of like, we want to create massive change, but it doesn't have to be so hard. And why do
Yeah.
humans have to make things so hard and challenging? So they kind of
Yeah.
help us to sort of uplift from that.
Cute. I like that.
Cute. Cute is the highest compliment Lindsay can give somebody. Even though it sounds trivial, it's not.
It's about as far as I go. That's cute.
That's cool. Are there any
Yeah,
other ones
I
that we
love
didn't
that.
mention that are like less popular that nobody knows about and
Did we
nobody
talk about
cares?
Syrians?
Yeah,
Or
let's do
Sirius?
serious. Serious are some of the most, and I don't mean to say serious because it's not that energy, but Syrian beings are very grounded. They're very connected to earth. They're very connected to the body and connected to like physical form. So Syrian starseeds have an easier time working with the body than a lot of us do. And they really feel a strong connection to Mother Earth and nature and like being outside in nature and working with the planet. So that's another of the really big, well-known ones. Lindsay, I know we talked about Mintaka during your reading.
Yes,
So
guys, Mintaka. I just learned about this place. Oh my God, go. Sorry. This is exciting. I forgot.
I know I love Mintaka. So Mintaka is a planet of mermaids, and Mintakan starseeds are mer creatures. So they love
Emily, tell him
water.
why we were talking about it. Why were we talking about Mintaka? Tell him.
I can't remember.
Because I'm a mermaid, Emily. That's
Oh, you're a
why.
mermaid.
Duh.
She said it. She said I was a mermaid. Okay, so I must be a mermaid.
I love that. And for the audience to know, I don't remember everything that I channel. So sometimes when I do readings, I can't remember what came through.
That's fair, girl. That's
But
fair.
anyway, yes. So side note on that. So Mintukans, mer people, also very playful, childlike, joyful energy. Mintukan starseeds are more lighthearted than a lot of us. They don't take life too seriously, and they help us kind of reconnect with our inner child. So
Oh,
So
that sounds
here's
like
a
me.
question that's coming to me as we're talking about this because I'm remembering that movie Atlantis. Remember, I think it was like Disney or Warner Brothers, like the
The
animated
animated one.
Atlantis.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I felt like a deep resonance with that, which I know is not necessarily alien because it was supposed to have happened on Earth. But those ancient, powerful civilizations where they had a lot more magic and
yeah.
did a lot more energy work, would you say that those civilizations of people like the Mayan people and people of that nature were maybe more starseed than human, and that's why they
Yes.
had all that technology?
Yeah, so kind of the way that I like to think of it in terms of linear time is let's say your soul has spent all this time traveling in other star systems, discovering all these things, getting trained in all these different things. When planet Earth decided to become, let's call it what it is, it's an experiment. High vibrational beings like us, starseeds, decided to come to planet Earth to try to bring high vibrational civilizations here and to try to make that work in a third dimensional environment. So that's where ancient Atlantis and ancient Lemuria were created out of that wanting and desiring to have these higher vibrational societies here on Earth. And as we know, was not successful. So we are trying to, at this point in history, we're quickly evolving as a species, and planet Earth is quickly and fastly moving as well. So we're in an attempt trying to move back into that.
We're trying again, folks. Heaven on Earth, Age of Aquarius. Let's make it happen.
Now, another thing that came up during our session, and something that I have heard before, and I know it was a conversation that we had, so I know that others may be wondering or struggling with it, but Emily here said something that other people have said to me, which is that I have a little bit of angelic DNA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do with that because growing up, angels were like a religious Christian thing in my house. They just were, you know, you put an angel on the tree and all the things. It's a religious symbol. So as somebody who doesn't subscribe to a particular religion, when I hear that from, again, multiple people, I'm like, first of all, I feel weird saying it. Like, I'm angelic DNA. But I want you to, if possible, talk about what that is, what that means, and maybe help other people who maybe struggle with that term, angelic DNA.
Absolutely. This is one of my biggest teachings as well, is that our soul is so multidimensional. We may not just have had experience galactically, but we can also have had soul experience in the angelic realm as well.
You just went like this and this, you know, like the higher, sorry if people can't see me. She did like a horizontal spreading out, like as a galactic maneuver. Expansion and experiencing different timelines in the same kind of situation. But then she did like an up down vertical one, which to me is very good descriptor of like higher energies,
a different vibration.
Yes.
So if we're talking about all of this in terms of energy frequency, angels are a different frequency than galactic beings are. And so our soul can travel between all these different things. And so some of us have had lifetimes of experience in the angelic realm, perhaps training with some of the archangels. And angels are really powerful beings of healing, of change, of communication, of love and unconditional love. And angels are also helper souls. They love to help other people. They love to help societies, groups of people, groups of beings. And so if you resonate with having an angelic soul as well as a galactic soul, you may see yourself as being literally an angel on earth, someone who loves helping other people, someone who feels like they are here to help other people to heal, or they're constantly taking care of other people, or constantly like helping other people with different things in their life. So that to me is what it means to be an angel. Angels are well known in religion because they are some of the most powerful beings out there spiritually. So they're well known across different groups and different religions. However, where we can kind of get mixed up when we think about the angels is we're thinking about things in terms of them being either good or bad. So if there are angels that exist out there, automatically the opposite of an angel is going to be somebody who's bad or wrong or a sinner or all of those different things. And then we can kind of get caught up in that whole matrix of good versus bad, right versus wrong, good versus evil. And then that can pull us back into religious trauma. So kind of letting go of all of that and remembering that angels are simply healer beings and they're here to help other people and help others to heal can help us kind of let go of some of those other religious ideologies.
Hey there, we hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but if you want to listen to the whole thing, we're going to invite you over to our podcast. Either search for High Vibing It on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, Or even better, if you want to watch the extended video version of this episode that's even longer than the actual podcast itself, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/highvibe. Lindsay, tell them what's awesome about the Patreon.
Patreon is where we have all of our extended episodes. As Kelsey said, we have it on video, so you can actually see the things that we're talking about. Sometimes we have visual aids, and it's nice to know what we're talking about. We also have hangouts that we do sometimes that are exclusive to Patreon people. And you can get started with all of this and bonus content and everything that we have only for the Patreon people for as little as $3. I think it's $3.33 a month. And that's it. And you guys can get all the benefits and all access to everything that we put in there. Really cool.
It's really cool, really fun, super easy to join. And you guys don't even have to do that to finish this episode. If you're like, screw it, I don't want to pay any money, I just want to hear the rest of this episode, go to our podcast, High Vibe in It, search for it wherever you listen. It's totally free. Either way, enjoy the rest of the show wherever you choose to enjoy it. And we will see you guys next week because we do a new one every week. Adios.
Bye.